Hello everyone and welcome back to Mossy Pine Ranch at Elmcreek. We have reached episode number 14 and are now in September. That's right, summer is nearly over. Last time we harvested our sorghum field and that feed went to the horses and the chickens, and the chickens are now back up to productivity. They are absolutely carving their way through the sorghum. They had 9,000 litres when I topped them up yesterday, and they're now down to 7,350. So I think the sorghum plan is not really going to work. The yield we got from the field is probably not going to feed the chickens for the whole year, and it's definitely not going to feed both the chickens and the horses. So I'm thinking the next crop that goes in this field, or that field over there with the soybean in, is going to need to be something of a higher yield, like wheat or barley. But starting off today, we've got some lovely pallets of eggs, so I'm going to get them onto the trailer, loaded up, along with our lettuces over by the greenhouse. We've got a couple of pallets ready to be sold. The eggs are going to go to the fast food restaurant, and that's near the dealership, as that's the best price. And the lettuces are going to go to the Johnson's Farmer Market just down the road, as that is the best price. So I'm going to get these sold, and then I've got a bit of a plan around some equipment that's going to help me shift all the silage from the new silage silo, which we placed last time. You might recall that we mowed up that grass meadow field, and we used our new loading wagon, forage wagon, to get it all into the silo. And yeah, most of it has fermented. It's quite a lot of volume, so I'm going to need something that's going to help me shift that amount of silage over to the BGA for processing. So let me get the lettuces loaded up, we can get this sold, and then I'll be over to the dealership. See you there. So combined lettuces and eggs, we've got $19,057. That's pretty good. Okay, so I am at the store because we are going to buy something that's going to help with the volume of silage. If we take a look at the productions menu, we can see that we've got 93,000 litres of silage. So we only have a small trailer, the class trailer, and that can only take 23,000 litres. So we'd have to do quite a fair few trips to the BGA, which is on the other side of the map. So I've opted to invest in a new trailer, as silage is something we want to do quite regularly, and I don't want to be having to do lots and lots of trips all the time. So I spotted something that's going to be useful for the volume and capacity, and it's also going to be useful for the BGA, as it is a tipping trailer which raises at the back, which is going to be useful for loading into the BGA bin. And this is it, the Lizard Logistics Trans 70, and it's 70,000 litres and very good price for the capacity, $36,000. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. So I'm going to get standard wheels. I'm going to change it to a nice case red colour, although that looks a bit bright. Hopefully it'll look a little bit duller when we get it all dirtied up. There we go. And then rim colour, I think we have a light grey on the case. There we go, let's get that. So there's our new trailer. I'm going to leave the smaller trailer there, we can come and pick that up later. But yeah, here is a new trailer that's really going to help us with the silage volumes. So let's get it hitched up and yeah, we can take it back to the farm. Maybe before I do, I'll just see if I can demonstrate the tipping part of the trailer. There we go, so it raises at the back and we have the ability to tip it to a higher point, and the BGA has a bin with a bit of a wall around it, so this gives us the ability to raise it so we can then tip it. So let's get this back to the farm and load up our silage. Right, back at the ranch. Don't think we're going to be able to squeeze through that old white gate with this big old trailer, so let's go around this way. I am thinking of creating a bit of a track and path just to the left of this smaller pedestrian path, just to make it look a little bit better when we're driving around here. Let's get the beacons off and yeah, drive up here to get some of our silage. The spout is behind where we deposited, so I will have to just reverse a tad. There we are filling up. There's 96,000 litres. Should be able to fill this all up with 70,000 litres of silage, and we have 23,000 litres of grass left. So yeah, we'll fill up 70 and then we'll probably leave it till later in the day to get the rest. So we're not doing a trip with some still left in the silo. We want to make sure we get that all emptied and sold at the BGA for the monies. There we are, 70,000 litres of silage. Now I don't know how the old case is going to cope. It's quite a heavy load, but I'm sure it will do its best. So let's get back on the road and over to the BGA. Right, at the BGA. So let's get this turned about, and yeah, quite a heavy load. Was a little bit finicky on some of the turns just because it's quite heavy. The case is doing its best. It probably is a little bit under horsepowered for this job, but that's become a trend in this series, using the case to its max. Right, okay, so here's where we can lift up, and we don't want it too high. We should be able to now deposit into the BGA bin, so that's really handy. Gets it to the right height, and there's a nice bar in the trailer that pushes all of the silage out. Great stuff. And when we're done, we can just lower it back again. Very nice. That is a pretty handy trailer, and obviously you don't need to empty it in the raised position. You can empty it when it's flat, and that works as a pretty good trailer for us. So yeah, I don't think we're going to need the class trailer as much, but it is smaller, so it's easier to nip around, and not sure how much we'd get back for it in terms of selling. So I think we'll keep that for now. But I'm just going to pop back into the dealership as there is one thing I forgot to pick up that's going to help the John Deere. Okay, so you recall that the John Deere really struggled to pull the Amazon fertilizer spreader, and that was because the hitch arm was higher than the PTO, and the hitch on the John Deere is quite low. So what we need is one of these, and it is the AGCO drawbar, $140, and this is going to help the John Deere hitch up. Looks like we can change the colour, so we might as well go for John Deere colours here. And this is it. So to get it back to the farm, I just need to hitch it onto the front of the case, and then we can get it onto the John Deere later. But yeah, that is going to help it out with hitching to the Amazon. Cool, so let's journey on back to the farm, leave our silage to process. Okay, so we'll leave the new lizard trailer there, and we can head over to the John Deere and test out this drawbar. Right, so we can drop that there and get the drawbar picked up and over to the John Deere here. I want to make sure we pick up the drawbar and not the weight. Oh, it seems to be rolling backwards. Okay, so that is the drawbar. There we go. So, if we hitch up to the Amazon now, we should find that it does not leave the PTO hanging on the floor. There we go. So you can see that the Amazon has now hitched up to the drawbar, and the PTO can run nicely behind it. So I think that solves the problem that we had last time, and I'm really pleased that the John Deere is going to be able to pull the spreader, which is good. So we can do the liming and the fertilising with the John Deere. Right, okay, so on to the next job, back in the case, and we are going to the dealership once more, as we are going to move on to a job around preparing field 2 and 3 for its next crop. We obviously harvested the sorghum last time. We can't harvest the soybeans yet, they need another day, and unfortunately when we harvest the soybeans we can't sell them immediately, as we need to wait probably till next year, early next year, for the best price. But this time around, for the field prep, I thought, why don't we give mulching a go? So I know that sorghum leaves quite a lot of the stalk, and mulching is a process that can help the yield of the field. So use a mulcher on stubble after harvesting crops before you cultivate the field. This works for any crop that leaves stubble. You will gain a bonus on your yield for the next harvest. So I don't know what the actual bonus is, but I think it's very small, only 2% or so. But nonetheless, that's going to contribute nicely to a large field. And yeah, we haven't given mulching a go, so I thought it was probably worth it. So I'm going to the store to buy a mulcher, and I'm also going to pick up a cultivator whilst we're there. We don't have a cultivator, we've only got the subsoiler, which we used for creating the fields and doing the ploughing effect for us. So yeah, we need a cultivator and a mulcher. Right, back at the store, let's pick up our cultivator and mulcher. Right, so cultivator first, and we are going to get the Lizard SXHV30. I have had to take a small loan just so we can afford the cultivator and the mulcher, but we're getting the trickle of funds in from the silage at the BGA, so we should be able to pay that off straight away at the end of the day. And the mulcher I'm going for is not under mulchers, it's actually under mowers. I did see this crop up on the mod list the other day. It is the John Deere HX20, a mod that I used in FS19 as a mulching mower. And as you can see, we can select mulcher, yes, and that gives us the ability to use this as a mulching mower type thing. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So there we are. I'm going to get the cultivator on the front. I'm slightly worried that it's going to tip me forward because it's quite a big machine, but let's see how we get on. Looks like some sort of cultivating rhino. There we are hitched up, so let's slowly get back to the farm, and at least we can get both bits of equipment back in one trip. Probably beacons and the hazards on. Dangerous equipment. Right, made it back safely. Just gonna drop the cultivator there, and then we can leave the John Deere mulcher here, as I'm going to leave that job to the John Deere, as yeah, I've been wanting to use the John Deere, and makes sense that it does a job that only needs a small amount of horsepower. I think it's 75 horsepower for the mulcher, so just get the case hitched up to the cultivator in preparation. And I'm probably going to have to get the John Deere weight for the front of the case, so let's bring that over. Okay, so I think we can detach this with the drawbar. There we go. That's pretty handy. And I'm going to get the rear weight so we can give that to the case. There we are. Brilliant. There we go, that hitches on perfect. No need for a drawbar here. And we can get this unfolded. And I think we'll go down to the far end so we can start on an even spot. Turn it on. Just like a mower. And if we head in this way, we should be able to lower away and see that we are now mulching. There we go. So that is the mulching effect on the ground. We're chopping up all the stalks, and that is now helping to increase the yield of the field, which is pretty good. Every little bit's going to help. And the John Deere is pulling the mulcher quite nicely. It can actually be used to tidy up the edge of the field as well. There we go. So I'm going to concentrate and get this job done, and we can get this field all mulched up, and after we've mulched it we're going to cultivate it, and after we have cultivated it we are going to have to lime it and fertilise it. Oh, and we'll also have to roll it. So mulch, cultivate, roll, lime, fertilise. That is all the preparation steps we are going to do. And of course we're going to have to do that to the soybean field as well once that's harvested, and then we'll have to get that planted fairly quickly as well, as we are running out of season time to plant. So let's get the mulching done. And there we are, all mulched up. That looks pretty good. And yeah, you don't have to concentrate too much on which way you're going and how you're doing it. You're just there to crush all the stalks, so you can go about it any way you please. But if we take a quick look at the map, we can see that we'll have a nice mulched soil composition. So there we go, we have mulched ground, 2 and 3, mulched. There we go. So that's going to contribute towards the yield. So let's get the mulcher parked up, very handy, and we will use it again for the soybean field, 4, 5, 6 and 7. There we go, that's dropped off nicely. Right, so we're in the case. Let's get the weight on the front. We are definitely going to need it, and that will make us a lot more stable. So if we pivot round and, oh sorry soybeans, we get back to the starting position, which was up here, we can go around the same route as we did for the mulcher. Let's get this unfolded and get this lowered off here, and we can start cultivating our field. And these are small stones, I think, so we should be able to roll them in. Very nice. Right, just done a bit of a pause as the cultivator seems to be dragging up really big heavy stones, and I don't think that should be the case. If you're using a plough or a subsoiler, yeah, you should be dragging up big stones, but the cultivator should only be dragging up the little stones. We cleared this field, if you remember, in an earlier episode, so yeah, I've actually gone ahead and turned off flagstones. It is rather annoying to have to keep doing it every time, especially as we are only cultivating. We should be drawing up small stones only and then rolling them in when we roll. So yeah, at the top of the field where I have started the cultivating, we've had some heavy stones, so I'll have to get them cleared. But yeah, for the rest of the field I'm going to turn it off, just because it's a little bit repetitive, and having to get the equipment and everything else is quite expensive. So I think we'll just leave it off. We've done that part of the game now, so yeah, we will carry on without stones. But yeah, we are now cultivating in what we mulched, and should be getting a nicely prepped field. And I think because we've turned stones off, we won't need to roll, but we can take a look at the soil composition after we've finished. So I'm going to get this done, and I'll see you when we're finished. And there we are, we've finished cultivating the field. So if we take a look, we can see that it is mulched on the soil composition, and it is now cultivated on its stage of growth. So that is really good, and because we've turned stones off, they no longer appear on here, which is good. Right, let's get the new cultivator all parked up in the shed, and then we can get on to the liming and the fertilising. Right, hopped in the John Deere and got it nicely hitched up to our spreader, but we have got fertiliser in the spreader. We want to be starting off with lime first of all, so I'm going to empty that, switch over for lime. Right, so that's all emptied, and we're going to get some of the big bag and big bag pallet of lime that we've got in here. Excellent, so that's filled it up to 53%, but I'm going to need more than that, and rather than having to go back to the store each time to get big bags, I am going to get a handy mod, which is something that allows the distribution of lime. So there is this mod here, which is the Seed, Fertilizer and Lime Station, and it's $5,000, but it's going to be really useful for us in terms of not having to go back and stock up all the time. So we can just pretend that this is where our deliveries are made when we put our orders in for such goods. There we are. So that's our handy little stocking area. There we are, so we've filled up with lime from our new storage area. So let's pop on through here and we can get to liming our nicely cultivated mulch field. So we will start here and turn on and get to liming. And what's handy is if we do use all the lime in this spreader, we can go and fill up from our new supply area. Okay, so seems as though we've limed and fertilised the field. I decided to do both jobs in one stint just to get it done. We've obviously limed and fertilised this field before, so just get the job done and then we are all ready. So I think we can just deposit the leftover fertiliser. Still the original fertiliser that I purchased a while ago now, and it has lasted us a very long time. So I don't think I want to park this up here actually. We should get it washed, serviced and parked in our new shed. Right, so time to get our last load of silage in. So 47,770 litres. We can get that over to the BGA, and yep, we can pay off the loan we took out. We took out £20,000, so we can repay all of that, and we are clear. And that was all from our BGA profits. So let's get this loaded up and taken over to the BGA. Pulling up to the BGA as the last job of the day, and we can get our silage processing, another 47,000 litres. Oh, there you go, that's where the steering is a little bit fast. I think the weight that we've got on did help quite a bit actually. Let's back this up as straight as we can manage, and then we can get the trailer all lifted up and emptied. There we go. In it goes. Nice trailer this. Interesting idea. Wouldn't say it's a conventional trailer. I don't think I've seen anything like this before. So yeah, nice. So how much is left in the BGA? Let's take a quick look. Okay, so we've still got 67,000 litres to process, and then we're getting some nice stocks of digestate, so we should be able to use that as a natural fertiliser in the future, but we'll have to get a slurry spreader, or a spreader that can do both digestate and slurry. I think they all can, so that's pretty good. So that is it for today. I'm going to head off back to the ranch and park up a few bits. But yeah, we got some good proceeds from our lettuce and eggs. They fetched around 19,000, I think. We bought this new trailer, and it was a bit of a godsend. It meant we only had to do 2 trips from the silage silo to the BGA. Otherwise we probably would have had to have done 6 or 7 trips with the quantity we had. We bought the draw bar for our John Deere, which allowed us to do some jobs later on. And we bought a mulcher and a cultivator, which chopped up the sorghum stalks, got an extra yield bonus for us in our next crop, and we cultivated it nicely. But we did see some stones come up, so yeah, we've turned stones off now, as I feel like we've had enough of stones. And yeah, we've got field 2 and 3 all prepped up, limed and fertilised, so we'll be good to plant a crop in there. Next time we're going to have to harvest the soybean field, get that all collected up. The soybeans probably going to go in the silo, ready for when the price is at the peak, and then we'll have to sort out the soybean field, get it mulched, cultivated, limed and fertilised, and also then planted. I think tomorrow is the last day we can plant some of the crops that I want to plant. I think I want to get barley in, probably both fields, so then we've got some feed for the chickens and then a reasonable crop to sell as well. I did want to get canola in, but it is too late. It was last month when we get that in. But the good thing about barley is that if we get it in, we can actually harvest it early, and then we've got enough time to do canola next season. But yeah, that is it. Hope you've enjoyed watching. As always, a big thank you for your likes, subscribes, and if you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like me to do, then feel free to leave a comment. But all there's left to say is, hope to see you again next time, and until then, I'll see you later. Cheers all, catch you later. Bye bye.